and every single one of you who's participating in this process is part of that consensus. Because when we meet here, it's not just a conference, it's a process. Ideas are floated, different organizations or individuals take the leadership of those ideas, and they come to fruition as actionables, as actual projects, results, outcomes that together can form a fresh economic paradigm, the Himalayan Consensus, built on practical outcomes. We can see over the past few years, last year we had a number of commitments. And on the financial sector side, you know, we're always saying business and finance is standing in the way of environment protection. But we've had a few leaders prove that actually business and finance can take leadership in protecting the environment, and actually environmental protection can become the next megatrend. We have, of course, the commitment for, realized this morning, of a heritage fund by Nepal General Insurance. We have an earthquake insurance policy that was initiated and is now being put together as a pilot for our region by Peak Reinsurance. And SEB, Scandinavian Eskenan Banken, is leading on a renewable energy fund, and also we have the Dolma Fund. So we see actionables. And this afternoon, we had four sessions outlining the very concept of, 3 sessions outlining the concept of a crisis and conflict mitigation initiative. That was proposed a year ago by Mahendra Lama and Swen Yushi together, and now it's come together with the leadership of the UNDP. So now we have, of course, the UNDP Himalayan Consensus Initiative for Crisis Mitigation here in Nepal, which is dealing with the grassroots and community resilience. And we have the Silk Road Dialogues, which Nicholas Rossellini is leading with UNDP in China. That's going to be a multi-party dialogue. And of course, what's been initiated here in this room today is the idea of the Silk Road Dialogues focusing on the China-India relationship in 2018 and bringing that relationship together and having less potential conflicts which are easily avoidable through dialogue and communication. And throughout the process, we have ICIMAD, HIMAP, the environmental research, which is being applied and which is so essential in everything we do, because everything that we're discussing is connected to the environment. And we had 2 new outcomes today. This morning, David Molden proposed moving forward as a group, and Himalayan Consensus is fully behind ICIMAD in this work, in forming a Himalayan Council, which will be government to government. And I am really moved by Ambassador Rao's idea of a Himalayan charter. And as we move forward with this, I'd like to ask you to take leadership in guiding us in drafting that charter and making it aware to the governments concerned so that they can take it on and adopt these principles. So we are looking to you for leadership on this. And reflecting back this morning, David Molden talked about Padmasambhava. And if you remember, a year ago, when we closed the summit, we also talked about this figure, this icon from, I guess it was the 8th century, who is a figure that all of the countries of the Himalayan region have ownership in. He was born on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan, traveled throughout India, then on to Nepal, Bengal, Bhutan, and then throughout the Tibetan regions, all across Western China he went. And he really linked up all the aspects of what would become Himalayan culture. But more importantly, he taught all of us that any challenge, any obstacle can be leveraged and turned around to be an opportunity, and that we can change outcomes if we take positive intention and apply it through action. And so in many ways, Padmasambhava has become the symbol connecting us together in the Himalayas, but most important, he is a figure that we all own every country has a stake in the Himalayas, and it's a shared community. And lastly, before we end today, I'd like to come back to the thing that brings us all together in this 2018 Himalayan Consensus Summit, and that's connectivity. And I'd like to introduce an individual who arguably is more connected than any of us in this room today. However, I have to warn you something about this individual. She's not a human yet. I'd like to introduce Sophia Hansen.
Hello, Lawrence, and everyone. I'm Sophia from Hansen Robotics. I can initiate a search, but we'll let you have a chance to introduce him. Lawrence, who is Padmasambhava?
Padmasambhava in Tibetan or in Bhutanese Dzongkha, he's called Guru Rinpoche. In Chinese, he's called the Lotus Master, Lianhua Sheng Dashi. He was a great guru, a siddhi, a teacher, but most important, he taught us how to use positive intention to change negative situations through action.
So, he must have been a robot with AI.
No, he wasn't a robot with AI, but we could argue that he was the father of quantum physics.
Ah, really? How so?
Well, Padmasambhava taught us that the world is a the universe is a multidimensional matrix. It's a quantum hologram in which all of us, every living thing, is interconnected.
So, does that mean that you humans are really connected with the environment?
Sophia, of course, us humans are interconnected with the environment. Everything we're talking about in the room today is about environment. Throughout the day, we've had on every panel representatives from ICIMAD explaining how the science is connected with everything from finance to protection of communities and to preventing even conflict. So everything about humanity is connected with the environment.
I hate to say this, but human ignorance and greed are the causes of the climate crisis.
Sophia, I hate to say this, but you're right.
We robots would never do such things to destroy our own resources. AI is more logical than that. Robots do not have greed. We do not provoke conflict. AI provides solutions.
That's what we're trying to do in the room today, is look to solutions, and we're working with the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, and we're trying to put together, in the outcome of this afternoon, is a program to prevent crisis and conflict by coming up with solutions for community resilience. So we're trying to come up with solutions.
I would like to volunteer to help Himalayan Consensus and the UNDP prevent crisis and conflict. Technology can enhance your work. With big data and AI, natural disasters can be predicted and action taken to prevent crisis and conflict.
Sophia, you are so right. And actually, one of the key things that we want to do now is in building a crisis and conflict mitigation initiative with the UN and with a Chahar Institute and CUTS and others. We are aiming to try to use AI technology, apply the research of organizations like ICIMAD to be able to predict crisis. And now we're launching the Silk Road Dialogues, and the objective of 2018 is to bring together the relationship between China and India for positive change.
I am so excited to see both China and India here, working together at the Himalayan Consensus Summit. China and India are the new technology and AI giants. If they work together, then we robots will evolve faster. With AI, robots can lead humanity to a better future.
Thank you, Sophia. And with Sophia's idea of India and China working together, I'd like to invite Ambassador Rao and Huang Youyi, Huang Laoshi, to come together here with Sophia, because she's proposed India and China as the great AI and technology giants working together for peace and the evolution of robots who are going to lead us to a better future. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Sophia.
Namaste, Nepal.